My name is indeed Mark White. I work under the name, if you like, of the Blog Coach, and I work primarily with individuals and companies looking to understand more about using blogging and social media to help promote their business and, more to the point, increase their sales online. And one important part of social media is the social networking aspect, and obviously that's what we're here to discuss today. Now, for me, networking used to be, should we say, simple in the old days. Well, simple is perhaps the wrong word, perhaps straightforward would be better. That's to say, we'd go along, we would talk to people, we would get to know them, we'd keep in contact, and then hopefully they'd be able to recommend us, and we'd be able to recommend them. That seemed to be the way to do it. And you could only keep a certain number of people in your network to work with effectively. Obviously, there were some people who were judged very much by the size of their Rolodex and the size of their desk to have their Rolodex on. And other people had small Rolodexes, and others had very big ones, but they didn't actually know the people. But such was life. Today, it all seems so much more complicated, to be honest, because we come here, we talk about social networking, there's still only one of us, but somehow we have to be on Facebook, we're asked to be on Twitter, and then we're asked to be on UK business forums, and we're on Academy, and we're on any number of social networks that we care to mention. Why? Because, as Graham has mentioned, this is the way that we need to interact with people nowadays, online, to promote our own business. We can do it, the technology's there, and so that's what we do. We create the profiles and we take it from there. The trouble is that this landscape that we work in of social networks seems to change. Today, Facebook and Twitter have been mentioned a number of times and no doubt will continue to be mentioned by the other speakers. If we go back a few years, Twitter certainly didn't exist. Facebook was designed purely for US college students, and therefore we would have been talking about the latest and greatest of MySpace, perhaps, or we would have been talking about another network. And the fact is that this landscape changes very quickly. It's something that in 2 or 3 months' time, there will be new players in the market. In 3 years' time, perhaps it won't be Facebook, it'll be Headspace. Maybe that's the next one that we need to get into. Maybe it's Headspace is where we all need to be. So what we'll do is we'll go over there, we'll follow some friends who are now on Headspace, and we'll go and create our new profile, and we'll start to make all those contacts again, and we'll start the whole process running on somebody else's platform, somebody else's networking environment. And what I'm saying is, yes, I'm afraid this is the way the market's going at the moment. This is something we have to do. But at the same time, let's be sensible. Let's have a stable core, a stable centre to our social networking. And I would suggest that our blog, something that again has been mentioned by both of the speakers, and rightly so, needs to be the core of our social networking online. So for me, while we need to be actually using our energies to promote ourselves, as already been pointed out, in each of these different areas, by actually bringing people back to our blog and promoting all of the content that we have there, this is actually where our community and our own personal network is A, under control, B, it's constant developing, it's going like that. It isn't going, oh, and then Facebook dies, and up, and Headspace dies, and that, and it's not Twitter now, it's Raw. That will be the next one, so that'll be your next micro-blogging thing. And so we're going in this wave format on the network, so we're expending energy and then losing some of that network. By bringing those back onto our blog and working with them there in a community, developing the relationships, we're able, in fact, to maintain a steady and incremental increase in the network that we hold. If we remember back to what blogs are actually able to do for us, we have a number of different elements. One, easy to update, something that is very straightforward for you to add to. If you can do an email, if you can write a Word document, then you can write a blog. 2, it has an interactive element. That's to say that you are able to actually participate in a conversation. People can ask you questions, they can comment on something you've written, and hence you are deepening their understanding of you and your position, hopefully as an expert in your area, and by their questions and the interaction, you're deepening your understanding of them. 3, it gives you the chance to actually be recommended by them. You know, you have the social bookmarking tools on your site, Delicious, Dig, and all the others. You have a simple email a friend. So you take the page that you're on, one click, and it can be passed on to someone else. So you have tools which help you to be recommended. And you have something called RSS, which for me is probably the strongest and the most, or least understood tool that's out there in terms of social marketing and social networking. It's very much for me the Clark Kent of blogging. Looks crappy, but by God, underneath there's some power. So by actually promoting your stuff, what does the RSS do? It sends it out. It can send it out to the search engines, it can send it out to directories, it can send it out to people who subscribed, and importantly in this case, with more and more of the social networks, it can send it automatically to your profiles. So therefore you have the short bio, you're obviously writing, I generally tend to write about things connected with my business, although obviously got very bored over the weekend and it was sunny and I thought, oh, I tell them it's sunny. Oh, don't forget, mention that you're working and you're working on a business blog. Okay, that's a bit tacky, but such is life. But a lot of people will use it in different ways. Graham mentioned a couple of excellent examples. Others in terms of small businesses, let's face it, they can use it so long as they mix it in with other things which aren't self-promotional. A quick tweet and a link to an article you've just written, a blog you've just written, an element of your website that you wish to promote. All of these things will actually help you build up followers and also followers to your own blog or your website, because you are just building up the numbers. But in this particular instance, the approach I've taken is a quantity over quality approach. My goal here is to build up a number of followers who then I'll be able to make aware of what's being written and take it from there. If they wish to follow, then great. And for me, I've got 3 new partners who are offline marketing people who now we're partnering up and working with to do online marketing, and 4 new customers who simply have seen what we've done, because I've put out some of the recent blogs that I've finished, liked what was happening, liked the search engine results, and have got in contact. So it is working in that sense, as well as new subscribers to the RSS, which is my main concern.